Hi, cool cats and kittens. We're going to go through the EEDI quiz that was on Graphical Inequalities, finding regions. So stuff you've looked at home was drawing it and finding and creating the region yourself. This is more looking at you're given a region and you need to see which one it is. It's a little bit more of a, I think it's more of a difficult skill, working backwards in this sense. But once we get the technique down, it's definitely not beyond us. So let's have a go. I'm going to go through each question. You can just skip through until you find the questions you want to see. I'm going to do it in order, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6. So for this first question, first thing I'm probably going to do for these is just to make a little note about what these graphs are, because if the graphs are different to what's in the question, I can easily eliminate them from the options. So this line on the left, the block line, and it's going to be not a y equals, it's going to be an x equals minus 2 graph. So we're either going to have something like this or something like this, depending on when we test some coordinates. And then this is a y equals, I'll get a different colour pen seeing as we've got black there. Go for a green. Here we've got a y equals 3 graph. It's a dotted line, so it's either going to be this or this. Y is strictly greater than 3 or strictly less than 3. Let's just pick a coordinate within our region. So I always say if you can pick 0, 0, pick 0, 0. So let's test them in this one here. So in A, we are saying that x is greater than minus 2. Well, from our coordinate that we're testing, we know that x is 0 and y is 0. That's a coordinate that satisfies these inequalities. We could have picked any of them in here, but 0, 0 I think is quite easy. So I'm asking the question, is 0 greater than minus 2? Yes. And that's from my x coordinate. Now I'm going to ask with my y coordinate here. So is 0 less than or equal to 3? True. However, if we look at our graphs, I'm expecting a greater than or equal to or a less than or equal to sign. This doesn't have it. And I'm expecting a strictly inequality sign because of the dotted line. This doesn't have it. So even though the coordinate kind of falls within this, the dotted lines and the block lines do not match up with what they are showing in this set of inequalities, so that would be wrong. Let's do the same again. First of all, let's check. Yes, they've got the inequality signs looking correct to represent the dotted or the block line, so this is something is going to be worth checking out. So I'm going to check that y inequality first. So is 0 greater than minus 2? Yes, that is true. Now I'm going to check my x inequality. Is 0 less than or equal to 3? Yes, but however, let's have a look at the graphs in a little bit more detail. What they've done is they've got the numbers mixed up. So we were expecting y to be greater than or less than 3. They've got it as 2. So what they've done is they've got their x equals and y equals graphs muddled up. So in this case this would not work because these graphs are not the same as the graphs that they've drawn. Okay, before I go into any substitution, I'm going to just double check that these are correct because I could have eliminated them too a little bit quicker. Let's double check this one. They've got the possibly correct inequality sign there. They've got the also equal to, and they've got minus 2. So right now they're looking good to me. Here they've got the 3 for the y, and that's what we want, and they've got a strictly greater than or a strictly less than inequality sign. So these graphs, these inequalities they've drawn seem to be okay. Let's check if they are if they've done them the right way around. So let's check if our coordinate satisfies this. So let's check our x. Well, is 0 greater than or equal to minus 2? Yes. And let's check our y. Is 0 less than 3? Yes. So this is going to be our answer. They've drawn the correct lines, they've done the correct dotted or block lines with the inequalities, and the coordinate I've picked within my yellow region satisfies both of these inequalities. Let's just check D to see why this would be wrong. Here, they've got, again, the numbers the wrong way round, just like they did in B. So that one would be incorrect. Having a look at question C. It's question 2, sorry. Which is the region that satisfies y is greater than or equal to 3 and y is greater than or equal to minus x? So this line here, this should actually be a block line, shouldn't it? Judging on the inequality that they've used a less than or equal to sign. This is the graph y equals minus x, so that's going to represent this. And this is the graph y equals 3, so that's going to represent this inequality. So just double checking they've done their lines correct, they seem like they have. Let's just go around the map and pick a coordinate from this. So let's pick a coordinate in region A. I am going to pick the coordinate 4, minus 5. That is in region A. So if we check region A, I've picked a coordinate minus 5, 4, because I've gone 5 to the left on the x and 4 up. So I'm going to check this now. So we know that that's x and that's y. So I'm going to check for my y inequality here. Is 4 greater than or equal to 3? Yes. And I'm going to check for my x inequality, which is, well, I'm going to call that my x inequality, the one that's got x in it and y. Maybe I should label this inequality 1 and this inequality 2. And when I go and check them, I can label them up a little bit more accurately than that. So I'm going to say checking inequality 1, it works. Now checking inequality 2. Let's see if it works. Well, y is 4. So I'm asking the question, is 4 less than or equal to minus 5? So be careful with this. When we have a minus of a minus number, that is like a positive. So I'm actually asking the question, is 4 less than or equal to 5? Yes, that is true. So actually the first one I've checked would be the correct answer. So A satisfies this inequality. So A is going to be the correct answer. Let's just go through one more example to show what would happen if it was wrong, and then I will leave you to do the rest if you want to. So let's say I picked B first. I'm just going to pick the coordinate 2, 4. So I've picked the coordinate 2, 4 because that's in region B. Now I'm going to check inequality 1 to see if this works. So this is x and this is y. So I'm checking, is 4 greater than or equal to 3? Yeah, that works. But I'm going to check inequality 2. Remember, it has to satisfy both of them. So I'm asking the question, is 4 less than or equal to minus x? X is 2, so minus 2. No, that is not true. So B, nope, does not work. And that's what you would do. You would get something like that for if you carried on and checked C and D. Okay, next question. Which set of inequalities describes the blank region marked R? So let's write out my inequalities. Or, well, anyway, let's pick a point first. So I know a point 1. Actually, a bit of an easier point. Let's do this one here. That coordinate is 1, 0. So I know 1, 0 is in R. 1 is my value of x, and 0 is my value of y. I'm just going to go through and check each inequality. So, y is greater than x. Well, I'm saying, is 0 greater than 1? No. So A is just wrong off the bat. Let's not even waste our time checking the second one. Okay, let's check B. X is less than Y, and X is greater than 2. Let's check this. So X is 1 less than 0? No. Straight off the bat, I'm not even going to waste my time checking the second one. That is not right, so I'm going to cross them off as I go down. Let's check C. Y is less than X, and X is less than 2. So Y is 0, X is 1. That works. So it's qualified and it's worth my time to check the second one. So X is 1. Is 1 less than 2? Yes. So C is my correct answer because it satisfies both. Let's just, seeing as it's only one more, let's just check D to kind of assure ourselves we're correct. So Y is less than X, and Y is less than 2. Actually, I'm going to stop us there. Both of these would work in the case of that is true, and that is true. However, that is not the correct line. This is the line X equals 2. This is the line Y equals X. So we would never expect an inequality. In blue, I'm going to actually, in green, I'm going to draw what, if this was true, we'd need a line like that, wouldn't we? Because that is that line. They haven't drawn that. So this inequality is just not drawn. The coordinate I picked might satisfy it, but it's not drawn, so it's not what they want in the question. So C is our correct answer there. Scrolling down to question 4. Okay. They've blocked up some places, so it's a bit harder to find a coordinate, but we can use our imagination to what would be under here. That'll be a 2, that'll be a 1, and this will be a 0. Again, let's just pick a coordinate that's in this. You might think, well, if you got this one wrong, you might actually just want to pause this. After you've seen me do the first 3, you might think, you know what, I can do these next 3 on my own. Pause it before I do each one, and just skip forward to see if you get it right. So I'm going to pick a coordinate here. I'm going to pick this coordinate here, and that coordinate is 0, 1. Notice how I'm picking really, really easy numbers. I'm not picking -1, -3. I mean, they're still not bad numbers, but if you can substitute in 0, why not? So let's check that. First, let's check that these lines are drawn correctly. So this line here, that is a x equals -2 line. I've got a line on the bottom here, if you can see it in blue. That is a y equals 0 line. And then this line, it's going to be something plus 2. So y equals something plus 2. And I know that because it crosses through the y-axis at +2. Now let me check my gradient in green. I'm going to look for a good place where I can form a triangle. So here to here. I've picked them because they land bang on the coordinates. And I can get a nice triangle with some whole numbers in there. So this distance here is 3. This distance here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my gradient is the change in y over the change in x. My change in y is 5. My change in x's is 3. It's actually going to be a -5 because I'm going down, aren't I? So it's going to be a negative gradient of -5/3. So I'm going to fill that in there. And that's going to be my amount of x. I can do a bit of rearranging. Obviously, it seems like they want it in a different way. I'm going to times by 3. So 3y equals to -5x plus 6. I am then going to... Let me just check I've got my gradient correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3. Are they exact points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think this might be drawn a little bit off because I'm not matching up with this. The drawing's got a bit of a thick line, so I can't tell if that's exactly a coordinate. Let's just go with not knowing what this equation of the line is, and let's just check our inequalities and see if we get some matches. We can see they've got the same every time, so it's not going to be an issue like in the previous questions where one of them's a different equation that isn't drawn. They've actually been nice and just made sure it is correct. We've got these two here, so let's go through. We're expecting an x is greater than 2 or an x is less than 2. We're expecting a y is greater than or equal to 0 or a y is less than or equal to 0. This one, we're never expecting this here. So straight off the bat I know C is wrong. This has got the wrong inequality sign for this block line here. So I know, and it's also got the wrong inequality sign here, we're expecting just something like that because it's a dotted line. So I know straight off the bat B is wrong because they've done their inequality signs wrong for what they've drawn. These other two seem like their inequality signs are good, judging on the dotted or the blocked lines. So I'm actually going to test these two with my coordinate. So straight away, just by my knowledge of how to draw these inequality lines, I've narrowed it right down to 2. So I'm going to check A, and I've got inequality 1, inequality 2, and inequality 3. And I'll do the same on the others. So checking inequality 1, I know x is 0 and y is 1. So I'm asking the question, is 0 less than minus 2? 0 is actually greater than minus 2, isn't it? So A is incorrect. I'm not going to check the rest because I don't need to. It has to satisfy every single one. We know it's going to be D now, but let's just double check that they've not done a bad question where there's no right answer. Is 0 greater than minus 2? Yes. Inequality 2. Is 1 greater than or equal to 0? Yes. And is 3, lots of 0, plus 1 less than 3? That would be 0 plus 1. Is this true? Yes. So we know D is our correct answer. Okay, final two questions. Well done if you've kept going this far. So, we've not been really given any coordinate grid on here. They've been nice to give us the equations of the lines, so we don't have to do any kind of discovery on that. Let's just have a look to see if these all match. Well, this is a block line, so we'll be expecting either this or this. This is a dotted line, so we'll be expecting that or that. And this is a block line, so where that equal sign is, we'll be expecting a greater than or equal to or a less than or equal to sign. Let's have a quick check over our answers to see if we can eliminate any straight away. This has got the wrong inequality sign, and so has this. Oh no, that one's correct. But this bottom one, the incorrect inequality sign. So straight away, I know that this is not, it could be true with the region, but they've not drawn the correct, they've not used the right inequality for the line they've drawn. Okay, B. That's all fine, that matches up with what I'm expecting. That X is matching up with what I'm expecting, that's matching up and that's matching up. And then this one again here, this inequality sign and this inequality sign are not what I'm expecting from what they've drawn. So I've narrowed it down to B and C. So let's pick a coordinate. This is going to be x is 5, so I know I've got the numbers -1, -2, -3 and -4 in the middle. So if I pick this coordinate here, so if I pick the coordinate -1, 0, I can tell that that is definitely in the region, even without any numbers on a grid. I'm going to check this. Again, -1 is our x, 0 is our y. Let's check B. We've got inequality 1, 2, 3, inequality 1, 2, 3. So let's check inequality 1. Is 0 greater than -1? And I've got them from my coordinate up here. Yes, that is true. Let's check inequality 2. Y is 0. Is that less than or equal to 3 subtract -1? 3 subtract -1 will be 4. So we're asking the question, is 0 less than or equal to 4? Yes. And then this final one, is minus 1 greater than or equal to minus 5? Yes, it is. So we know B is correct. We could go ahead and check C. If you went ahead and checked it, we would see that y greater than 0, that would be true. It's the same as we had in the other question before. This one would fall apart. This second one would be wrong if we substituted in our coordinate. So that would show us that that would be incorrect. Okay, on the final question. Which inequality describes the region R? So, similar stuff. They've just changed the lines a little bit. Because this is a dotted line down here, we're expecting that or that. Because this is a block line, I'm expecting a greater than or equals to sign or a less than or equal sign, depending on what region they've shaded in, which we will check in a bit. And this line here is x equals minus 4. Because they've drawn a block line, a solid line, no dashes, I'm expecting that inequality or this inequality. Let's go through and check if we can just eliminate any straight away. So that inequality seems okay. We're not wanting, they've done a dotted line. If this was to be working here, this second one, we would want that to be a block line, which they haven't drawn. Okay, let's go down. This inequality here, we'd expect a dashed line if this inequality was to be drawn on our graph, which is not what they've drawn. In fact, this question seems to be easy if we're doing it kind of this way and eliminating. This, again, would not stick. It's the same reasoning as I said in the question above. So actually, we've eliminated it straight away to D. But let's just double check for our own sanity. We know this is going to be minus 4. So again, I'm going to have the numbers minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 in the middle. Let's pick and check the coordinate minus 1, 0 again. So inequality 1, 2, and 3. So I'll just put inequality 1. We know that's y is greater than or equal to 2x. X is minus 1 and y is 0. So is 0 greater than or equal to 2 lots of minus 1? So we're asking the question, is 0 greater than or equal to minus 2? Yes. Inequality 2, is y, which is 0, less than 2 minus x, which is minus 1? 2 minus minus 1 is 3. So we're asking the question, is 0 less than 3? Yes. And then in this final one, we're asking, is x greater than or equal to minus 4? Well, x is minus 1. Is minus 1 greater than or equal to minus 4? Yes, it is. So, it's a bit of a long one, I expect, but hopefully you've got some value out of that if you watched just some of the questions. Alright, thank you.